So today we'll do Shloka 2.60. I will recite first and then we can recite together. Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manah. Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manah. Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manah. So please recite after me. Yatato hyapi kaunteya
Yatato hyapi kaunteya
purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini
indriyani pramathini
haranti prasabham manah.
haranti prasabham manah.
Yatato hyapi kaunteya
Yatato kaunteya
purushasya vipaschitaha
purushasya vipaschitaha
indriyani pramathini
indriyani pramathini
haranti prasabham manah.
haranti prasabham manah.
One more time. Yatato hyapi kaunteya
Yatato hyapi kaunteya
purushasya vipaschitaha
purushasya vipaschitaha
indriyani pramathini
indriyani pramathini
haranti prasabham manah.
haranti prasabham manah.
Word for word meaning and translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
yatataha
Yatataha
while endeavoring
endeavoring
he
he
certainly
certainly
api
api
in spite of
of
kaunteya
kaunteya
O son of Kunti
O son of Kunti
purushasya
Purushasya
of a man
of a man
vipaschitaha
Vipaschitaha
full of discriminating knowledge
full of discriminating knowledge
indriyani
Indriyani
the senses pramathini agitating haranti throw prasabham by force manaha the mind. Translation: the senses are so strong and impetuous O Arjuna that they forcibly carry away the mind
carry away the mind
even of a man of discrimination
even of a man of discrimination
who is endeavoring to control them.
endeavoring to control them.
So in the previous shloka which we read yesterday, Krishna said that the taste for sense objects will always be there. But a wise man will replace those lower tastes with a higher taste. Meaning, instead of being attracted to material things, we will now become attracted to spiritual things. And as our mind gets attached to spiritual knowledge and spiritual objects, then automatically our material desires will be reduced over a period of time. But here in this shloka, Krishna is still warning us that yes, you can still try to replace your lower desires with higher desires. Nevertheless, Krishna is warning us that even for a man who has a great degree of self-control and who is able to discriminate between right and wrong, even such a man, if he is not conscious of how his senses try to control him, even he can get carried away. Even if one of the senses is attracted to one of the sense objects, he can get carried away. So Krishna is stating here that the senses are very strong. Impetuous means they cannot be controlled. You know, you normally refer to children as impetuous. 1 minute here, they are here, next minute they are somewhere else. So like this, the mind and the senses are strong and impetuous. And it is as if by force that they carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination. So we can recall from chapter 6, when Lord Krishna talks about how great yogis try to control their mind and senses by practicing dhyana yoga. Arjuna protests and says, you know, you're asking me to control the mind, but I think it is easier to control the wind than it is to control one's own mind. So Krishna himself here is acknowledging that it is difficult for us to control our senses and our mind. Mind is considered to be the sixth sense. So the 5 primary senses plus the mind makes up the 6 senses. So even the most discriminating person can lose it. So Krishna is saying, be careful. This is how powerful your senses are. This is how powerful your mind is. So as long as we acknowledge that our mind can control us very easily, our senses can control us very easily, we have to be cautious of how our mind may try to control us. So this is the essence of this shloka, is a warning that even if we think we have achieved some level of control of our mind and senses, you will be tested. Maya Devi is always ready to test you, to see how good your control of mind and senses are. So even for a sadhaka, for a practicing devotee, oftentimes we struggle with our mind. So even though we would have committed ourselves, say for example, I will wake up at 3:30 in the morning every day so that I can attend Mangalarti. You know, sometimes your mind tricks you. It says, you know, you had a long day yesterday, or you were sick yesterday, or you're tired. Why don't you take some rest? You can always begin the following day. Like this, the mind will always try to guide you against what is right. So we have to be so cautious even in our sadhana, that we should be able to stick to our sadhana and be as determined as possible. Yes, there will be ups and downs in our sadhana also, but we have to recognize when your mind is trying to control you and pull yourself back to coming back to that principle of practice, principle of following the regulative principles and chanting the 16 rounds and associating with devotees and attending classes and reading the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have to pull ourselves back when we slip in our sadhana. So we will slip in our sadhana. That is guaranteed, because we are not pure devotees. we are trying to love Krishna, but it is not easy for us because we have so many other temptations and so many other duties and responsibilities. So this is the essence of the shloka, is that we need to mind the mind and we need to mind the senses.